Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, imagine if you was a worker in the NHS and your Prime Minister turned up in a private jet to tell you there's no more money for you. From a private jet. Well, I suppose he wasn't actually in the private jet when he actually said that to them. But this man, right, decided he was going to take a private jet from London to, I believe it was to Leeds, right? So let's just say to Leeds Infirmary. I think he was going to a hospital in Leeds, right? Only to go and tell these people there's no money in the pot for you. There's no extras. You're not productive enough. Just like my colleague told you. I can't remember which colleague it was, but that's what one of his colleagues said. Right? That these people need to be more productive and say, you're not productive enough. So there's no more money in the pot for you. Even though just a few weeks ago, we was all out banging pots and pans. And I can remember Rishi Sunak, right, in particular, and Boris Johnson, right, outside enthusiastically clapping, right, for these people, right? Rishi Sunak might as well have just turned up there in a phantom. Forget the ghost. He turned up there in a phantom, right, to go and tell. In fact, right, he might as well just turn up there in a Ferrari, right, and just like donut in the car park and just walk in there and say to them in very tight clothing and just say to them, listen, you know something, yeah? For you, there's no more money in the pot. How insensitive can you be, right, to actually take a 14-seater jet plane, right, to go and tell these people in their face, nah, there's nothing extra, not for you. The NHS is falling to pieces, right? As we speak, the NHS is falling to pieces, right? And Rishi Sunak has the gall, the absolute cheek, the audacity to go and tell these people from a private jet. You know, he might as well have just taken a helicopter, right, from the private jet, right, to the helipad, right? In fact, just land in the car park, right, in the hospital and just say to them, listen, just gather around because I've got something to tell all of yous. And that is, right, there's no cash for y'all. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages sent me. And a special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages. I'll answer as many as I can. But I will like all the messages for definite. So we've got... we say it ain't so, Joe. What the hell is Joe Biden doing, right? Getting found with confidential papers. Joe Biden's been found with 10, I think it's like 10 papers that's been marked, that's obviously marked confidential, secret, confidential, right? So, and obviously now that has given the Republicans absolute ammunition. Even though Donald Trump was found with thousands of documents, right, and then refused to give up the documents. In fact, he said, no, these documents, they belong to me. Joe Biden, as soon as, like, because it's Joe Biden's lawyers or something like that who found them, and they handed them straight over to where they needed to be handed over to. Obviously, this happened before the midterm election, so Joe Biden knew about this before the midterms. So they're jumping on all of that as well. But you know, the circumstances is completely different. But unfortunately, Joe Biden has walked into one of their little, well, not even one of their traps. He's just, you know, unfortunately fallen in, right, you know, into their path, and he's given them some ammunition. And really sadly, Lisa Marie Presley has passed away, aged 54. And you know, her son committed suicide in, I think, 2020. He committed suicide. You know, so I mean, you can always tell. I mean, you know, parents who have had to bury a child. You know, most of them are dead themselves. I mean, you can see it in their eyes. You know that they. You know, because obviously it's a horrendous thing for any parent to have to do. But Priscilla, I mean, Priscilla's still alive. You know, she's still alive. So, you know, that was her and Elvis's only daughter. I don't know if Priscilla's had any more children. She might have had with someone else. She might have had more children, but yeah, that was them two's only daughter. And Lisa Marie, she had quite a decent singing career herself. She was really decent singer herself. So just such a sad story. Just at the age of like 54 years old. So obviously that's really just no age at all. Just such a sad story, that one. And then we've got like Michael Flatley, who has cancer. If you know Michael Flatley, he's the one who brought river dance to the masses, right? And whether you like Irish dancing or not, and I do like Irish dancing. But so whether you like Irish dancing or not, right? You've got to admit that he is a highly talented, and he did. His river dance routine was just like absolutely second to none. So it was just like absolute brilliant. But it was said that I like all sorts of dancing. Obviously we over here we've got the waltz and the foxtrot, but the black community, we've brought most of the real. We just killed it off, all dancing with the bogle, right? Right. That's right. And then, right. Once the twerk came out, that's it. It's all done. Do you know what I mean? You can forget the Macarena. Right, or do you know what I mean? I do like a lot of the Bhangra dancing. The Bhangra is very good. The Dutch do some good dancing, some clogs. The Scots have got some good dancing as well. Obviously Africans and West Indians. And there's a few other nations that that have a little piece of rhythm. Michael Flatley, he really brought Irish dancing to the masses, and cancer. Let's just hope that he pulls through that. And Amanda Pritchard. Amanda Pritchard is the chief executive of the NHS, right? And I've got this thing about people who are highly paid, right, who point out the fucking obvious. And Amanda Pritchard has just stepped right into pointing out the motherfucking obvious. She really believes that what the NHS needs to do is train up more doctors and nurses. Really. So that's why we're paying you the big bucks. So you can tell us that the NHS, who needs 133,000 members of staff, they need to train up more doctors. They haven't even got the capacity in this country to train up the amount of doctors and nurses that they need. They haven't got the capacity because for so long they've relied on foreign workers. And Amanda Pritchard has drawn on this, where she said, there's too much reliance on foreign workers. I said, well, that's a bit stupid, isn't it? Of course there is, because that's how the system has been built. The system has been built like that. Our system hasn't been built to train up enough nurses and doctors in this country. But what's happened is we've turned around to those people and said to them, we don't want you here because you smell. Right? And you're black or you're brown or you speak in a foreign motherfucking funny language. So we don't want you coming here. And only Western countries, I think, can act like that, where you've got people, it should be a blessing that people from all over the world want to come to this island to come and live. That should be a blessing to people. But these people are like, because it's just hateful. This is a hateful island. So now we've driven all those people away. We've driven them away from working in places like the NHS and from working in things like social care. Because who do you think was looking after your nan? Not some person with most of the time it wasn't some person with an English accent. Oh no. It was some foreigner looking after your nan. And you've driven so much of those people away. Right? And these people don't actually realise, I don't think, right, that there's as much people as they think now in the world who look at this country as a real prospect. The pound is shite, the pound. It's crap. Right? The pound's not even worth a pound. Right? Our pound is probably worth 55, 60p. right? I think there's, once people realize what this country is now, and I think so much people around the world are realizing. So all those boat people that are coming over, this country needs to really make use of those people. But you see, because the immigration numbers are the highest they've ever been. And I just, you know what, I'm just on the floor with laughter over that. But the difference is, right, the people that are coming over, right, none of them, none of them are coming over to do like, a minimum wage jobs, which they was coming over to do before, which, the Brits don't want to do. That's why so much of these jobs, these minimum wage jobs, there's so much people, right, needed in those type of jobs. That's the reason why. Because a lot of these jobs are the jobs that the Brits didn't want to do, and now they still don't want to do them. Right? But those jobs can't be filled. You've got so much businesses who can't open like, maybe 1 or 2 days a week or in the evenings or on the weekends, or, so they can't open or in the afternoon or in the morning because they haven't got enough staff. Hotels, right, haven't got enough staff because a lot of those people who are coming over to do those jobs now, they can't come over. So all the people who have come over, you're talking about more than likely middle management. So, because, most of them will be on like, £50,000 upwards. Right. So all those people are just coming over to be your boss. And let's speak about some Brexit quickly. In fact, actually, just let me run through these two stories, actually, because we've got, a man's been charged with the murder of Ellie Edwards. 22-year-old Connor Chapman has been charged with her murder. That's the young lady who was murdered in the Wirral. I think her one was Boxing Day or Christmas Eve. Because I think there was another murder on New Year's as well. But I think her one was the one in the Wirral in Liverpool. So a man's been charged. A 22-year-old child. Right? What the fuck is he running around with a fucking gun for? 20 motherfucking 2 years old, right? His ass should just be coming out of university. Oh no. And a woman has been killed while she was walking a load of dogs. So she was walking 8 dogs, and somehow they managed to turn on her and they've killed her and injured another woman. So obviously all those dogs are in custody at the moment and probably all going to get put down because they just went off in a pack. So I think it's something to do with a horse. So something's happened there. And the dogs have ended up killing the woman. But let's figure out some Brexit quickly because Keir Starmer has told Rishi Sunak he must take on the ERG and he will even give him some of his support to take on the ERG. And say, well, good luck with that, Keir. But Rishi Sunak, has, right, just got rid of one of the big beasts from the ERG. So the ERG people there must know, well, actually, he's kind of serious because Rishi Sunak can literally take the whip off of as much of them as he wants and still actually have like 30 seats over or something like that, right? And then none of those guys would be able to stand to be to be a politician, a Tory politician. They could go down as independents, but that would be about it. And it seems that Sadiq Khan has upset a lot of folks, right, by saying that the UK, right, really needs to get back into the single market or into the customs union or, one of the two, right, because otherwise, he said that the city of London has taken a massive hit. And well, that's true because, obviously, so much of the financial services have gone from the city of London. These people, some of these people might still have offices in London, but they're not working from London. They'll be working from Europe. But obviously, they might just be based in London. But because a lot of these guys, they just need a computer. So as long as they can get onto like the European networks, which no doubt they will be able to, they can work from here. But what they're doing from here, everything is being processed in Europe. So so Sadiq Khan's absolutely correct. But I found myself agreeing with the fucking Brexiters, and I feel disgusting and dirty. It just gives me a horrible feeling when I agree with Brexit about something, because they've said, well, Sadiq Khan is ruining London with the ULEZ and the congestion charge. I'm like, I agree with that. Shit. does that make me a Brexiter? Because now I'm really worried. If I agree with the Brexiters over one thing, because everything we disagree on absolutely everything, right? You can just tell on everything, right? Because so I'm just like, oh my God. I'm upsetting the Christians when I say that. So I should say, oh my gosh, right? Am I really just, am I a Brexiter now? Because I agree with them over one thing. I'm kind of worried about that. Anyway, guys, look, I'm going to wrap this up because I've gone 5 minutes over and I really didn't want to do that. But this is a Saturday video, so I'm going to wrap this up anyway. This, my friends, is By Any Means Necessary. I'm GMC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.